All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're tackling an absolute monster, a sentence from the philosopher Plato that has been twisting brains for more than 2,000 years. It is, and I'm not exaggerating here, one of the most confusing, paradoxical, and just plain baffling sentences in the history of philosophy. And our goal? We're going to crack it together. Okay, deep breath. Here it is, the big one. The whole argument boils down to this. One and the others in every way are and are not and appear to be and appear not to be. I mean, it sounds like complete gibberish, right? It's a contradiction inside a paradox. Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What on earth could that possibly mean? It just feels like a total dead end. But what if I told you it's not gibberish at all? What if it's actually the perfect, logical conclusion to a really long and careful argument? Well, that's what we're here to figure out. So, first things first, you need to know that this sentence isn't just random. It's the grand finale of a long philosophical workout. It's the destination at the end of a pretty intense journey of pure logic. So to solve this riddle, we can't just stare at it. We've got to take it apart and see how it was built. So how do we do that? We break it down. You can see it's got a few key parts. There are two main subjects, the one and the others. And then it plays with a few conditions and actions, like whether they are or are not, and whether they appear to be or appear not to be. It's all about how these pieces relate to each other. So let's start with the subjects. Let's meet the two main characters in this philosophical play, the one and the others. And it's super important to remember, these aren't people or things. They are pure ideas. First up, we have the one. Now, try to imagine the purest possible idea of unity. A single, perfect thing that is so whole, so complete that you can't even divide it. It doesn't have a top or a bottom, no parts, no pieces. It's just one. It's the ultimate concept of singularity. And then you have the others. This is, well, it's everything else. It represents the idea of multiplicity, all the separate individual things in the universe. You know, this screen, your hand, every single leaf on every tree. If it's not the absolute, indivisible one, then it belongs to the others. So you see the fundamental clash here, right? On one side, you have this idea of pure, indivisible unity. On the other, you have endless, divisible multiplicity. The entire puzzle of that crazy sentence comes from the bizarre relationship between these two. It seems like they can't exist without each other, but it also seems like they can't possibly exist together. That's the problem. Okay, so let's get into the real heart of the paradox. How can something be and not be at the same time? This is where Plato starts running his logical experiments. Let's start with the one. Does it exist? Well, in a way, yeah. As a concept, as an idea of perfect unity that you and I are thinking about right now, it exists. We're talking about it. So in that sense, it absolutely is. But, and this is a huge but, does the one exist out there in the real world? Plato would say, nope, no way. Think about it. Anything that actually exists in our physical world has to have parts, right? It has to be somewhere. A truly indivisible one with no location and no parts, you're never going to find one. So from that point of view, it is not. Okay, let's flip it. What about the others? All the many things. Do they exist? Well, of course they do. That seems totally obvious. I mean, we live in a world packed with different, separate things. We can see them, touch them. They clearly are. But then, here comes the twist. How can you have many things if you don't first have a concept of one thing? How can you have a collection of chairs if you don't have the idea of one chair to begin with? Plato's point is that without the concept of one to group things and give them identity, the others just dissolve into this messy, undefined chaos. So without the one, the others can't really be anything at all. So existence itself starts to look kinda slippery, doesn't it? It all depends on your perspective. And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the crucial difference between what truly is and what just appears to be. And the master key to this whole thing was actually hidden in the original sentence all along. It's that little phrase, in relation to themselves and one another. This little bit tells us that being isn't a simple on or off switch. It's all about context, relationship, and perspective. It all comes down to your frame of reference. From our normal, everyday point of view, the world certainly appears to be full of lots of separate things. But after the logical workout we just did, that very idea now seems shaky, even contradictory. So, you see, the one and the others can both appear to be and also appear not to be. It all just depends on how you're looking at them. Okay, we've got all the pieces on the table now. We have the one, we have the others, we have this mind-bending idea that they can both be and not be, and that they can appear and not appear. So let's put it all together. This is the moment, and here's the beautiful solution. It all clicks into place in this perfectly balanced four-part structure. Plato is saying that when you consider their relationship to themselves and each other, the one and the others, 1, they are. 2, they are not. 3, they appear to be. And 4, they appear not to be. See? The sentence isn't nonsense. It's a super condensed summary of every single logical possibility he explored. So let's go back and read that baffling sentence one more time. It's not so crazy now, is it? Suddenly it sounds, well, logical, almost mathematical. Every single word is exactly where it needs to be. And that's the real takeaway here. The sentence isn't meant to be an answer about what reality is. It's a map of the absolute limits of logic and language. Plato is showing us what happens when you push our concepts as far as they can possibly go. The point wasn't the final sentence. It was the journey there and what it reveals about how we think. Which leaves us with one last really provocative thought. Plato's exercise seems to show that any attempt to describe ultimate reality ends in a contradiction. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, the deepest truths about the way things are can't be squeezed into simple, neat statements. That maybe the final truth is a paradox. What do you think?